Well, hey guys, it's Viejo here. Good morning. It is January 2nd in 2024. Got to get used to saying that. Hope everybody had an enjoyable holiday. And what we're up to today, you got to be asking yourself, what is Viejo doing up here with this gear? Well, let me give you a little bit of the backstory here. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, we were doing a fundraiser online for one of our compatriots, Red Raider. Well, we said that if we got up to a certain level, that some of us would volunteer to drink one of these hard seltzers live online in a subsequent live stream. Well, we reached the goal, and like a fool, I was one of the ones who had volunteered. I didn't think I was being a fool. I'd never drank this stuff before, and I thought, how bad could it be, right? They sell it in the store. Never heard anybody dying from it. Well, suffice it to say, it did not go well. Let me show you a little bit of a video clip from last week's show on Hillbilly Up's live chat, Guns, Beer, and Therapy. And I'm going to put a link to that specific show, and if you'll scroll out to about an hour and 30 minutes into the show, you'll see the beginnings of those of us who did the deed. But here's a little clip of me doing it.
Pinned at the top of the chat, Eagle Run, if you want to come over to the main chat.
What's the flavor?
Ruby red grapefruit.
Ruby red grapefruit.
Who farted?
Uh-oh.
Wasn't
That was
me.
Gary.
No, it wasn't.
All right, here we go. It says gluten free.
Have you ever had one before?
Nope.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a genuine California woke flavor. All right.
This is the next thing they're gonna come up with avocado toast flavor.
Good night.
Come on, Walter.
God. Can we go back? We can have a do-over on where I said I would. I don't know what gluten even is, but apparently it's delicious because it ain't in here.
Yeah.
All right, so there's that, and everybody survived. And it was a lot of fun, even though there were some drastic moments. So later on in the show, we got to talking about what else might this stuff be good for. I mean, it's certainly no good to drink. So somebody came up with the idea, I wonder if you could tumble brass in it. So I said, hey, let's give it a try. So I got some, and I've got some 9mm brass here that's been deprimed. This is just some range brass, so it's, it may be sacrificial lamb here. I don't know. We're going to find out, and we're going to tumble this brass in the Frankfurt Arsenal small tumbler. And I'm not going to put anything else in there. I'm not going to do any Lemmy Shine or Dawn. We're just going to try tumbling this stuff in the White Claw grapefruit garbage stuff and see what happens. I'll tumble it for about an hour and a half, and we'll see if it does the job or not. I've got some stainless steel needy in there. Okay, this is the stuff I always use. These are the chips rather than the pins. So we'll go ahead and dump this brass in there. Okay, so the brass is in there. Now let's get the secret sauce shoved down in there. Okay, here we go. There's one. I might need a little more. I got a couple more of these. And let's bring you in here closer and see that level. So you can see there that it's pretty fizzy. So I'm going to stir this stuff and let some of that carbonation come out of there. But a 6-pack was just about the right amount. Okay, we'll just go ahead and keep stirring this stuff up. I want as much of that carbonation out of there as I can get. All right, I'll be back when I'm done stirring. All right, I'm not getting much more fizziness out of there now. So, all right, we'll set up down here now. Let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, we'll just let that tumble for an hour and a half. I'll set my timer and we'll come back here in a little bit and see how we did. All right, the first thing that happened was after just a couple of minutes, it started to leak, and I pulled it off and opened the lid, and there was a little bit of pressure in there. Okay, so I resealed it, and we'll get this going again, see if the same thing happens. Leave a rag down there this time. All right, we've been going an hour and a half. Let's see if we get any more gas leak coming out of here. I did have to stop the unit a couple more times. There was little bits of leakage going on, and I opened the top and there was a hiss. So it did pick up a little bit more CO2 in there, but let's do this. No hiss that time, so we're out of the CO2 problem. And let you have a look down in there. Yeah, it's pretty grody looking water. All right, let's get the water drained off and get these guys cleaned up. All right, we'll go ahead and dump the water. It doesn't look particularly muddy. Not as grody looking as usual with my other methods. All right, we'll just let that sit there for a minute and drain the rest of the way out. All right, the next step is we'll go ahead and dump this load into our separator. And I gotta say, they look pretty clean. All right. Get them locked in there. Get the cover on, and we're just going to rotate these about 50 times in each direction. Just like that. My next step then is going to be to drop those cases into a strainer. And then I'm going to take these over to the faucet over here and give them a rinse with fresh water. And then I always give mine an extra rinse with some distilled water. Go in there. The water here is really hard and it spots in it. Just takes a second to get that hard water off of there. I'm going to let those set for a second to drain out the excess. And the last step that I do with my brass is I dump them out onto a towel. Okay, and we're going to roll these up into a big giant burrito and just kind of shake them, and that's going to get rid of any extra water, loosen up any tumbling media that might still be stuck in there. But typically by this time I got no media left in there, and that's it, about 10 seconds worth. Okay, it's warm and sunny outside. Well, it's not all that warm, but it's at least sunny. So I'm going to put these on a tray and put them in the sun to dry. Okay, there we are. It's outside air temperature is only about 61 right now. As you can see here, it's really sunny, and that brass in a half an hour is going to be so warm it'll be hard to handle. So we'll let them sit there an hour, and they'll be good and dry. All right, let's take a look. This stuff got pretty clean, boys. Let's have a look at our primer pockets. Yeah, that one looks pretty clean to me. Clean inside and out. Nice and shiny inside. Primer pockets are nice and clean. I think the citric acid that's in that hard seltzer did a pretty good job for shining this stuff up. I gotta say, I'm actually kind of impressed. Okay, folks, there you go. The answer to the question of can you use White Claw Ruby Grapefruit Hard Seltzer to wet tumble your brass? The answer seems to be yes. It worked out. I mean, these guys are clean. I think it's the citric acid in here that really did the trick. But as you saw, we used nothing else, just the hard seltzer. No soap, no Lemmy Shine. Okay, that was it. And I'm kind of impressed. You just want to be sure you get as much of the gas bubbles out of here as you can. You know, I did have to open the lid on my tumbler a couple of times and release some of the pressure, even though I thought that I had all of the CO2 stirred out of there. It didn't, and it caused the lid to leak a little bit. Once I got rid of all of that CO2, then the last hour didn't leak at all. But if you're going to try this, get the CO2 out first. Stir it, let it sit, let it go flat, okay, and then do it. Would I run right out and buy a whole bunch of this stuff to do my brass tumbling? Heck no, not even. The stuff's way too expensive for that. But on the other hand, if you know some wannabe friend, somebody who didn't know any better, gave you a case, this stuff's not fit to drink. Okay, even before you wet tumble your brass, you don't want to drink this stuff. Friends don't let friends drink hard seltzer. Okay, but if you got a hold of a bunch of it by hook or crook or something for free, it'll work on your brass. But so far, that's the only good thing about this stuff that I've found. I think that's more than enough out of this one. So from the Viejo bench, for now, that's all she wrote.